Good morning. I hope this video finds you well and safe and in touch with and able to be strengthened by the care and love of one another, the care of family, and the care of friends. I wanted to do a quick check-in with you to make sure, one, that you remain encouraged. But also I wanted to give you a little bit of an update about what's happening at CTS and maybe talk a little bit about what's ahead of us. So first, a word of encouragement. Even though we're going through some uncertain times like many of us have not known in our lifetimes, of one thing we can be assured, and that is that God is still present with us, and that God is still working to help us get through this. I think sometimes we can forget that when God made creation with free will, that meant all of creation, not just human beings. So that there are ways that things can happen that are even out of God's control, not out of God's power to respond to and to change, but things that can unexpectedly happen, and pandemics like the one that we are living through is one of them. But that does not mean that it is an absence of God or an absence of God's love and power for us. It simply means that creation took a turn that we didn't expect, and that we have to respond with all of the hope and with all of the encouragement that our different faiths give us. In terms of what we're doing at CTS, as many of you know, we've taken our operations online and closed the building. One of the great blessings that we have is because we have spent so much in providing one of the best quality online educations that can be had anywhere, we were able to and postured to be able to continue our operation as an organization. Now, I, as president of the seminary, am particularly thankful for that because it means that we don't have to put the health of our beloved staff and dedicated faculty at risk during this period. So I want to, one, say how pleased I am about that situation, but then also to lift up our staff and lift up our faculty who, through this difficult time, are continuing to provide the best possible theological education for our students that is possible. So I just want to lift them up. I also want to say a word of encouragement specifically to our students and know that many of you are in the midst of very challenging situations while you're trying to figure out how it is that you're going to get your coursework done, while you are in the midst of being locked down, or while you're doing chaplaincy work or various other kinds of work of ministry and goodwill. And I just want to tell you to be encouraged and that we are here for you, so that if there's any way that we can come alongside and with you in the midst of this work, in the midst of these times, you have but to reach out to us and we will always be there. And in closing, I would just like to say that I hope that we step back for a moment and be reminded of our call to be not only a people of hope, but also a people dedicated to building a better world. So what that means for us is that when this is over, and it will be over, we must ask, what is the work that we have to do to rebuild a society in which the bonds of goodwill and the bonds of care are even stronger, in which all of the hurt, pain, and loss is comforted, and in which the uncertainty is given room to be embraced by hope and to be embraced by love. I'll be checking in with you occasionally to try to talk about what's happening at the seminary and some thoughts that I'm having. But for now, know that we are here for you at CTS, and for all of those who are part of the CTS community, staff, faculty, board members, people who are our alums and supporters of the seminary, know that my depth of gratitude is that in this time, God has privileged me to be able to serve in your midst, and I give God thanks for that. So be well, my friends, and be encouraged, because indeed, these days will be over. And if we but hold on to one another and the assurance that God is still in the midst of all of it, we will make it through. Take care and God bless.